I have 9 o'clock, and I'd like to call the July 20th, 2026 Person County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. At this time, I do recognize we have a quorum. Commissioner Thomas, will you lead us on an invocation?
Sure. Let us all pray. Our most kind and dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today thanking you for all the blessings in life. I want to thank you for allowing us to live in a free country, God. I want to thank you for all the men and women that have fought the battles before us so we may live in this free country. We want to thank you for the ones that are serving today, God. We ask you just to watch over all our troops, keep them all safe. We want to thank you for all our first responders, our fire, our EMS, our sheriff, our police. God, just thank you for all those that keep us safe when danger calls. We ask you just to forgive us for all our sins. Thank you for giving your son to die on the cross so we may have eternal life. And we just ask you to go with us, build this board as we make decisions for the county. Just help us make the correct decisions so the county will continue to thrive. And just go with us, lead us, guide us, keep us all safe. In your heavenly name I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Long, will you lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance?
Y'all rise and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members of the board, you have the agenda before you. Is there any discussion or adjustment of said agenda? Having hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion. Any further discussion? Having hearing none, all in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion's been approved. Item number 5A, proclamation honoring Alexis Vander Poppen. Whereas America's Distinguished Young Women, founded in 1958, is the oldest and largest national scholarship program for high school girls and has provided life-changing experiences for more than 780,000 women across the country, awarding more than $122 million in cash scholarships at the local, state, and national levels. And whereas America's Distinguished Young Women empowers young women to reach their full potential by providing scholarship opportunities for colleges as well as personal development to become confident leaders. Whereas America's Distinguished Young Women strives to give every woman the opportunity to further her education and prepare a successful future. Whereas it is with great pleasure and pride that we recognize and honor the exceptional achievements of Alexis Vander Poppen, a 2026 graduate of Roxborough Community School, who will be attending Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, majoring in biology and engineering at an accelerated dual degree program in the fall, who has brought pride and distinction to our community. Whereas Alexis Vander Poppen's dedication, determination, and unwavering commitment to excellence has resulted in her winning preliminaries in scholastics, fitness, judges review, interview, and talent before being named the Distinguished Young Woman of Roxborough in 2025. Whereas Alexis Van Poppen was awarded Overall Talent, Be Your Best Self Video Scholarship, and preliminaries in scholastics, fitness, judges interview, and self-expression before being honored as the Distinguished Young Woman of North Carolina in January 2026, advancing to represent North Carolina at America's Distinguished Young Women's National Finals in Mobile, Alabama, June 25th through 27th, 2026. Now, therefore, the Person County Board of Commissioners celebrates and honors Alexis Van Poppen and calls upon all citizens to offer congratulations and recognition to her for her remarkable talent, skills, and achievements. Members of the board, do have a motion to approve the proclamation?
So moved.
We have a motion. All in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Adopted this day, the 20th day of July, 2026, signed Kyle Puryear, Chairman of the Board of Commissioners. Is anyone here to represent the recipient?
No, sir.
Okay,
We'll get it to her.
thank you. All right. Item 5B, resolution of appreciation for retiree Susan Allen. Susan, if you'd like to come up, please. This is resolution of appreciation. Whereas Susan Allen has faithfully, diligently, and honored and served the people of Person County throughout her distinguished career with the Person County Tax Office. And whereas for 25 years, from June 18th, 2001 to July 1st, 2026, Susan Allen has rendered steadfast and devoted service to the citizens of Person County with integrity, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to excellence. And whereas throughout her tenure, Susan Allen has demonstrated exceptional competence, sound judgment, and deep dedication to public service, thereby earning the respect, confidence, and esteem of her colleagues, county leadership, and all who have had the privilege of working with her. And whereas the County of Person gratefully recognizes the significant and lasting contributions of Susan Allen in her various roles, including tax assistant, tax technician, tax customer service representative, senior tax customer service representative, and personal property appraiser, of which she executed with the highest standards of accuracy, dependability, and professionalism. And whereas Susan Allen has further contributed to the betterment of the county operations through her dedication on service on the Person County Safety Committee for many years, demonstrating her commitment to workplace safety, employee well-being, and organizational responsibility. Whereas the Person County Board of Commissioners desires to formally acknowledge and honor Susan Allen upon the occasion of her retirement, and extends its sincere appreciation for her service and dedicated efforts on behalf of the county and its residents. Members of the board, do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
All in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Kyle Pereira, Chairman of the Person County Board of Commissioners, do hereby present this resolution of appreciation to Susan Allen in recognition of her outstanding service, steadfast dedication, and lasting contributions to the betterment and efficient administration of Person County, adopted this day, 20th day of July, 2026. Susan? Congratulations. It's an honor. Thank you for your service to our county.
Yes, sir.
Very
Thank
much.
you. It was a privilege.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have any words you'd like to say?
I would just like to say thank you to the county, and I've been here, like you said, 25 years. I want to thank Russell Jones for giving me the opportunity. It was great. It's a good work family, and, you know, this job meant a lot to me in serving people, and I have truly enjoyed most days. Tax collection is not the most favorable thing.
I understand.
And so, you know, you just work through it and do what you can. But thank the county for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you again, ma'am.
Mhm.
All right, item 6, public hearing, acceptance of bid and adoption of approval, resolution of issuance of limited obligation bonds, LOBs, for Person County Schools. County Manager.
Okay. Should we open the public?
We'll go ahead and open
Okay.
do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
All right, all in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion's been approved. We're now in the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. So a brief presentation before we do have public comment, if anyone has signed up for this portion. This particular item is to accept the bid for the 2026 projects that Person County Schools will be delivering to improve several of the school facilities. So the board will be accepting the bid and adopting the approving resolution. Back in 2023, the county entered into an installment financing contract for improvements at Person High School. And in July, at the July 6th Board of Commissioners meeting, the board determined that it's in the county's best interest to amend the existing financing contract to provide additional funding not to exceed $10.2 million for additional school projects. And this is the second round of debt issuance that the board approved going back to March of 2023. So the original plan was to issue 3 rounds of debt in order to address safety, security, ADA accessibility, and other needed improvements to school facilities. So the project at Person High School is concluding, and this would be the next phase of those improvements. The 2026 projects that would be funded through these limited obligation bonds are at 4 schools. At Stories Creek Elementary School, the school system would be adding classrooms and improving safety, security, and parking. At Helena Elementary School, there would be improvements to safety, security, and parking. At Oak Lane Elementary School, improvements to security and emergency exits. And at South Elementary School, they would be renovating classrooms and improving accessibility and security at that school building. So at the June 11th Board of Education meeting, Superintendent Dr. Rodney Peterson recommended that the school board accept the bid from H.M. Kern Corporation for the renovations and additions to the schools that I just referenced, and the school board did approve and award that bid. Now we're at the point for the Board of Commissioners to accept the bid that has already been approved by the school board for the contract for these projects, and adopt the approving resolution that was included in your agenda packet so that we can move forward with the next steps in the process of issuing the bonds.
Questions for the county manager? All right, after hearing that, Madam Clerk, do we have anyone to sign up for or against?
No, sir, we did not.
All right, do I have a motion to come out of the public hearing?
So moved.
All right, I have a motion. All in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We're now at the public hearing. What is the desire of the board?
You want me to read that?
I'll make the motion to accept the bid and adopt the proven resolution for issuance of limited obligation bonds for the Person County Schools. That is my motion. Any further discussion? Having hearing none, all in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion's been approved.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 7, informal comments. Madam Clerk, do we have any to sign up?
Yes, sir, we have 3 individuals.
We have 3 individuals. This is a 10-minute period, so I will entertain 3.5 minutes per speaker, to be fair, and remind the speakers to address the board wholly, not as individuals, and to address the board, not the audience. All right, Madam Clerk, will you call the first speaker?
Yes, sir. If I can please have IT set the timer, thank you, for 3.5 minutes. Bob Brower is our first speaker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Bob Brower, and I serve as the chairperson for the Person County Environmental Issues Advisory Committee. I'm speaking today concerning the proposed ethical responsibilities resolution as it pertains specifically to EIAC. This change could result in restricting the dissemination of important information on environmental matters to the people of Person County. As documented on our bylaws, part of the purpose of EIAC is to specifically seek ways to educate the public on environmental issues and practices. To that end, relevant topics are discussed in committee, and a short article is researched and written based upon current science and best practices in environmental stewardship. To date, articles ranging widely from environmental and economic impacts of roadside litter to the impacts of particulate pollution and sediment pollution on our water. These articles have been published monthly in the Courier Times since January of 2021. That amounts to over 60 individual articles over the last 5.5 years. I believe our EIAC articles are consistent with Section 1 of the current ethical standards, which call for committees to be independent, impartial, and responsible to the people of Person County. Section 3C also stipulates that free speech by the committee to members of the community is permitted. EIAC receives guidance on any potential conflicts from our commissioner counterpart at our monthly meetings. Beyond this, I believe that the people of Person County are best served by continuing to receive timely, objective, and science-based information on environmental matters directly from EIAC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker we have is Holly Forrester Miller.
Hi, I'm Holly Forrester Miller, and I have, I'm on the EIAC committee, and I have made some, I have a sheet where we've made some recommendations of some minor changes to the policy that would in fact meet that educational concern that we have. And I'm gonna turn these in, I don't know if you wanna pass them and just follow along, 'cause in red is the few changes. At the very beginning where it says that you can speak without fear of appraisal, it did not say the appraisal from the Board of Commissioners, we added that. Item number 1 is talking about being able to, if we were in conflict, that we're supposed to notify the board, and we don't know if we're in conflict until you tell us if we're in conflict. So we changed it to say that our representative, that we will be notified by our BOC counterpart of such conflict, and then we can address it. On the second one, we added a phrase in terms of, advocating for the public at large. We added, unless operating in an educational capacity as part of their committee responsibilities. On the fourth one, the change is just, again, appropriate, where it says in a manner appropriate for members of such body, we added such as an educational article in the local paper to give a clear example of that. And then at the very end, where it says these guidelines are especially important to chairpersons who must recognize that they are authorized to speak for the body only to the Board of Commissioners, county manager, or department directors, and we added, or in approved public communications. So we wanted to put this out there to offer solutions that we think would help make these revisions work within some of our mandates as a committee. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker we have is Lauren Resnick.
Hi, I'm Lauren Resnick, and I am a sixth-generation Texan originally that grew up overseas, and I speak frankly to you. And what I'm about to say, I speak with respect, 100% respect, and under the protection of the First Amendment. What has transpired behind our backs is wrong regarding data centers and Microsoft specifically. Morally, legally, and spiritually, I include residents of counties next to Person County as Orange County because our water in quantity and quality will drastically be affected by the Microsoft. In signing NDAs and keeping secret from the people the zoning, the massive player, and the impacts of every single facet of life of residents now and into the future, a gross betrayal and understood contract between the people and their local government has been shredded. This is beyond sorrowful. It is incomprehensibly savage. You were supposed to be the front line against federal encroachments of local residents' basic rights, against destruction of precious farmland, trees, wildlife, and land with history and huge potential for centuries to come. Who got to vote on the beautiful preservation and potential of that land and decide its use for residents now and into the future? No one. Loaded technocrats and county commissioners unilaterally decided, Person County residents will have 1,350 acres dedicated to data centers. Not a drop-dead gorgeous nature preserve and park planted with mature oaks to last 2 centuries, not a massive alternative healing center to counter the dominant modern medicine climate here, not a zoo, not a school amid lush, beautiful greenery, none of those. No elegance, no depth, no integrity, no beauty, no entity set to give back to the community in the form of real human contact and jobs or recreation. This decision was forced on the people without their consent or say, and the agenda was completely hidden from them. Well, here is another trajectory, another path, another vision entirely. You put a halt, a permanent moratorium on Microsoft Data Center fully, on the whole 1,350 acres. Neither you nor the Roxbury City Council issue any water or sewage permits that this data center requires to continue. That land and water under it belong to the people of Person County and ultimately, and surrounding counties. and into the future, not to the council members, not to Microsoft, and not to the federal government. Due process has not been followed here. No public hearing, notice, or vote transpired regarding the Microsoft purchase of this land 2.5 years ago, roughly, or zoning or intentions. Microsoft was given privilege above every single resident of Person County. There was no equal protection, none. These both violate the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, no full due process and no equal protection. I would advise you to fast put a halt to the Microsoft data center because the movement nationwide, as you know, against data centers is spreading like wildfire by the hour. We have over 500 groups bonded together in a national coalition against data centers and growing, along with environmental and federal attorneys organizing as I speak to halt and reverse these egregious violations of American citizens like these here in Person County. County commissioners nationwide are now legally at risk for signing NDAs regarding these data centers, and that is not an exaggeration. I speak the facts of what is transpiring currently. I speak from descent of Revolutionary War ancestry and from the intentions of our founding fathers in peaceful and honorable defense of our American rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Ma'am, can you state your address, please? Ms. Resident, can you state your address? That's typically part of this process.
Do I have to state my address publicly? I don't think that's,
Yes.
that's, I live off of 15501. I live off Guest Road.
In Person County?
I live in Orange County, who has put a moratorium on data centers.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this is my full written statement for you guys. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes our informal comment period.
Okay. All right. Item 8, discussion and adjustment of the consent agenda. Any discussion or adjustment to the consent agenda? Having heard none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
All right, motion. Any further discussion? Having heard none, all in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The consent agenda's been approved. Item 9 under new business, tax collector settlement, Russell Jones.
Good morning. I do have a PowerPoint to share with you this morning showing the collection activity for the county for the last 12 months. This is required by general statutes just to close out the books. And the general statute, can you advance the slide for me, please? Back one. Okay. Let's see if we get the advance one. There we go. General Statute 105-377 is a requirement. So once a year, the tax collector comes to the commissioner saying we've done the following and we want to settle out the year. So we're talking about the 25 to 26 year, the tax year 2025, the fiscal year 2026. And I like to break down the categories into 3 different categories. Everything but public service, which is my utilities, my power plants, my gas lines, my cell towers, phone companies, all that would be in the second category. So the first category, we collected $38,931,000. Left on $355,000 uncollected, gave us a 99.1% collection rate. I point out public utilities separately because it is such a big part of our budget. That's about 16% of our budget, and they always pay 100%. So that is a big boost for Person County to have that one group paying a significant, about $7.5 million towards our tax bills. Third category is motor vehicles, which are now collected since 2013 by the DMV Tag Office, but it does go against our levy. Their collection rate is always higher than ours. They have some great tools. One being, if you don't pay your taxes, you can lose your driver's license and not get your tax renewed. So the reason you have some uncollected there would be a few bad checks or what they call a limited registration plate, where I bought a new car, I got a few months to pay it, and I haven't done that yet. So 99.95% collection rate on motor vehicles is what almost every county's seeing. Go to the next slide. So I take all those numbers and I put them together, and that gives us an overall collection rate. We're at 99.29. Last year, I was able to report a 99.5% collection rate, so it's down a little bit from last year. Last year was the best year we ever had. And why would this year be down a little bit? Well, the year after a reappraisal, the year of a reappraisal, is the hardest year to collect. A lot of people who are making monthly payments, they don't have it adjusted into a budget for the higher tax bill. So most of these are making payments. Quite a few of them are finished paying now, even though we're only 20 days into July. So 99.29 is our collection rate there. And county levy adjusted, that's kind of a way of reminding commissioners that we have to be cautious because of bankruptcies. We didn't have any major bankruptcies this year, which is always good. But if we had taken the bankruptcies out, which we have to include against our collection rate, but if we didn't have any bankruptcies, the collection rate would have been 99.32. And some years that could affect us more, but we didn't have any major bankruptcies. As a matter of fact, we only had 34 bills that were unpaid at the end of the year because of bankruptcy protection. So it really didn't impact us at all this year. We advance one more slide. Back one. That was two. So this is taking each category and we're going to average them out together. So I got 98.15 collection rate for real and personal property in 2022. And that was the year we did have a bankruptcy. We collected that bill early July, so we did get the money, but that shows that the collection rate can be affected by one big bankruptcy. Public service, as you can see, 5 years, it's always 100%. And the motor vehicles, that 99.95 that I mentioned, has been pretty consistent across the board. So we're going to take all these and add them together for the next slide. Advance, back one. So when we add all together, you can see that we have a collection rate 98.63 and 99.5 our best year, 99.29 this year. I would like to be able to tell you where we rank with our peer counties, but my peer counties are doing the same thing this morning that we're doing. So our peer counties are counties 25 to 50,000 population, and that's who we're ranked against. And we are normally beat out of the 20 counties in our peer size by Transylvania and Dare County. So we're probably number 3 out of our 20 counties. Hopefully better, but normally we're going to rank number 3, maybe number 4. As a reminder, Dare County is a very touristy county. Their tax rate is 26 cents, so it's kind of hard to compete against somebody who all the properties there are mostly multi-million-dollar homes, second, third homes with a very, very low tax rate. So I'm very proud to say we're probably number 3, number 4 in our peer county group size. Next slide. This is how, back to there we go. This is how we got a collection rate. So we have to send out delinquent notices. We do that early as we can in January, as soon as the mail stops coming in. And then we send a second batch out in May. Advertising in the newspaper has always been a great tool. When we send out tax bills, and we just did that this past week, most of y'all probably already seen those. We like to get them out early. I know there's some noise out there about county being greedy, wanting their money right now, but there was another issue out there. The postage went up 4 cents. It's like, wow, 4 cents, that doesn't matter. Well, 4 cents to the county for mailing that many bills, we saved $1,000 by getting them out early. And also the deadline didn't change, so why not let people know where they are? It's a good way of getting it out there. As soon as the taxes become delinquent, our rule becomes pay the tax bill with the least paying to the taxpayer and to the tax office. So garnishment's the first thing we go to. If we can find where you're working, we're going to ask your employer to send us 10% of your gross wages. Bank attachment's a little harder if we know where you're banking, or we can guess where you're banking. Sometimes we can send it to all the banks if there's enough money due. The bank will send us everything they have and make your account zero to pay that tax bill. We try not to do that if we can find out where you're working. And the bank's going to hit you with a $150 service charge when they do it and overdraw travel account. So we try that, less paying for the taxpayer, less paying for the tax office. Escheats is also another source. NC Cash, most people know it. And that's how we actually can collect money from deceased people. People leave money out there they didn't know they had, we can collect that money. Debt set-off continues to be a tool that helps with delinquent taxes. By the time the debt set-off, the time the debt's old enough, your debt set-off, all the returns for the current year are gone. So I've filed my taxes before my 2025 debt was old enough to let the state help us collect it. But we still collect money. If you win more than $600, we get to collect from that also. And many taxpayers are doing payment arrangements. We encourage them to call as soon as they get a bill, and we can go ahead and set up payments. Encourage them to pay before interest starts. We take partial payments anytime. But even the ones who can't pay before interest starts, we try to make a arrangement so that they don't get further behind as the years go forward. And then foreclosure, of course, is the last thing that we have to do. And it speaks briefly about my former employee, Susan Allen. She was able to experience the collection side and the personal property side. We could not collect the taxes we collect if the staff couldn't explain why the bill was there. So the personal property, my real property appraisers, all work together. And before we even try to start forced collection methods, the citizens already paying 93% of the taxes without any pressure. Of course, no one likes paying taxes, but most of the citizens in Person County are bringing us the money willfully. With a little bit of grumbling, but most of them are happy to spend the money. They understand that they want county services, they want good schools, they want someone to answer the phone when you call 911. So they all are, they understand. They wish it was cheaper, but they understand. Next slide. When we talk about the current year collections, that's what all my slides before was about, but this is all the other buckets of money we collect. So we collect a grand total, and this is not including DMV, of $57 million. And put that in perspective, about $7.6 million was for the city of Roxborough. You see, we collected prior year's tax of $199,000. So on the prior slide, we had about $300,000 that was uncollected on June 30. We collected 7/100, so 1% of that already. So we'll collect of that $350,000 historically. We'll collect about 61% of that money in the next 12 months. So we're going to keep on working on collecting that. This year we collected 9.987, just under $10 million more than we did the prior year. So collections just continue to increase. I have 3 staff members doing collections, and they're collecting $57 million for the county and city together. And the final slide, I believe. Next slide, okay. This is my 11th year in solvents, probably my favorite slide. So after 10 years, we do have a statute of limitations. Almost. So I'll explain almost. But we collected out of $28 million in 2015 was our initial charge. We collected all but $9,000 of that. That's a 0.03 of 1%. So 3/100ths of 1% uncollected. Now some of that we can still collect. So if you have a lien against real property, we can't force the taxpayer to pay it. But if they ever transfer the property, if it ever transfers, the new owner wants to clear title, we still have opportunities to collect that. But we got that down to where it's just a handful of bills left, and that shows that we continue to try to collect money even after that first year. We always focus on the first year, but 113 bills were unpaid. That's like 30,000. So very proud of that number. That's, like I said, that's my favorite slide. Okay. Any questions?
Yes, sir, on your garnishments.
Yes.
Do you reimburse your employers for collecting that money for the county?
We do not, and there's no stipulation in statutes to allow that. If your employer policy says they can collect a fee from the employee for having to do that, but that's kind of unheard of.
I know it, but my employees like to get paid when they work too, if they've got to collect money for the county. And you get it, this work just involved on an employer.
So we do send certified letters to the taxpayer saying they need to pay it. We give them 2 extra weeks to pay it.
Well, I know it's not your fault, I'm just making a statement.
Yeah, there's extra work on the employers for sure, because you have to now write 2 checks and keep track of how much money you sent to the tax office. We would prefer everybody to pay without going through that. We did send out 1,600 certified letters in one afternoon. So we try to get them all to the employer in one batch, and we've checked with the big employers. They would rather get them all at one time rather than one this week and another next week. And wait a few more weeks to get a few more. So we send them all at one time, just to be fair to the taxpayer and to be fair to the employer. We get them all out at the same afternoon. But there is a burden on the employer, and
It's a burden on your department too, with all that certified mail expense.
it's, well, the certified mail is an expense added to the tax bill, so we do charge that, but, it's a lot of work to track down the 1,600 we do send out. But without that, your collection rate would be in the 93%.
But I appreciate
just
what
to
you do.
get that.
Your department does an outstanding job. I don't know how you can improve on 99%.
We try.
I know you do.
For
but I
many, many
appreciate
years, my goal was to get to 99, and then I never thought we would see 99. Then all of a sudden, we're 99.5, or this year 99.39. So I'm very proud of my staff with just 3 collecting the money, 35,000 bills,
it.
and the
Yes.
conversations they have to have and explain to the taxpayer why they have to pay it. And so many taxpayers say, I get nothing for my money, and we understand where the money goes, so we do take time to explain. But yeah, we wish it could be 100%, but with bankruptcies and stuff out there, and some personal property that actually leaves the county before we can even find it's delinquent, you'll never have 100%. But yeah, the staff do appreciate the kind words, and I wish the employers didn't have the extra burden.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for being mindful about the stamp increase and the cost savings there, even though that there would be some grumbling, there's always going to be grumbling. I think you're being gracious and assuming people understand, and I think there's a big disconnect that people just think property tax is this nebulous thing out here, but I certainly don't want to live in a place where we don't have public safety and public schools and libraries and parks and so forth. So I thank you for what you do and how long you and people like Susan have endured and done a good job. Thank you.
Any other comments? All right. Do I have a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
We have a motion. All in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The report has been accepted. Item B, order to collect taxes. Mr. Jones.
So in order to get that 99.29 or maybe 99.5, never 100%, you have to give us tools. And yeah, me as a person cannot make someone pay taxes. I have to be ordered and given that authority by the board. So this is giving me the tools, my staff the tools to do a great job for you next year.
Do I have a motion to direct the tax collector to collect taxes for 2026 and delinquent taxes from prior years?
So moved.
I have a motion. All in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. You're fully authorized.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really, thank you for that.
All right, item C, advisory boards and committees, ethical responsibilities resolution. County manager.
During the last Board of Commissioners meeting, you did request that I develop a policy for public communications from advisory boards to ensure proper oversight for the sharing of that information from advisory boards out into the realm of the public. Staff has done research into this to see how that is handled by other local jurisdictions, and we have reviewed the policies that we currently have in place. Within your packet, there is a short-term suggestion for adding language to the existing or previously adopted a resolution to clarify the ethical responsibilities of certain boards and commissions appointed by the Person County Board of Commissioners. So the suggested language does amend that resolution and set some expectations for county staff and for advisory board members. It reiterates that advisory board members are appointed to advise county leadership, not to advocate publicly. They serve in a position of trust on behalf of the county and its residents. They should share policy views through official board proceedings and not present personal opinions as the board's position unless formally authorized to do so. And then the position of chairperson may speak for the board in advisement to the Board of County Commissioners, the county manager, or department directors. That is some suggested language, and you've also received some potential edits tonight from one of your advisory boards. In the long term, because upon reviewing these documents, the resolution that's in place, this ethical responsibilities resolution, as well as the resolution that's in place that guides the appointment of advisory boards and committees, both of those are very dated, and we believe that it would be in our best interest for staff to develop an umbrella policy for boards and committees that would apply to all of the appointed advisory boards and committees. And within this policy, we would incorporate the appointment procedures, ethical standards, some of what we just went over here in terms of expectations for communications. This overarching policy would also just incorporate some of the standard language, such as what you find in general statutes to define regular meeting, special meeting. Some of those are duplicated in various ways amongst bylaws for the various boards and committees. So it's a way to pull together the information that would be consistently expected of all of your advisory boards and committees. And then to supplement that, the advisory boards and the Board of Commissioners in partnership could develop supporting policies and procedures that are a much shorter document, a few pages for each advisory board. Those would include a charge, so that would help the Board of Commissioners clearly communicate the expectation for each of the advisory boards and what they are charged to do, and include any specifics or unique characteristics for each of those boards that may differ from advisory board to advisory board. It would that would need to be accomplished over several months in order to get to the point of adopting that policy and then working with each committee to develop those individualized policies and procedures. And with that, the existing bylaws could be repealed moving forward. So that would be an effort to create consistency and give the Board of Commissioners an opportunity to evaluate how each of the advisory committees is operating. So with that, you do have before you this morning suggested language for amending one of the resolutions that is currently in place. That's working with a tool that you already have to update the language in order to communicate the expectations for the sharing of public information from advisory boards. And then I'd also like to get some feedback from the board on whether you would like staff to move forward with developing this advisory board policy. We'd work with our staff liaisons in order to get a recommendation back to the commissioners and then work through the process of developing those policies and procedures for each board to go along with that.
Comments, questions?
Well, my comment is that this came about from one particular advisory board that we have had conversations about at least 3 times that I know of, maybe more. My suggestion has always been that I think that we should disband that advisory council. We have not, I don't remember a time when this board in recent past, the previous board, has asked for the advisement of that council, and the chair has come forward on different issues proactively, preemptively, and spoken, and the majority of the board has not taken the advisement. It's not any kind of punishment. I think that the county has provided a framework for that group, and they can take that and become their own nonprofit. They can accept funds. They can, they would not be a part of the county government. Our org chart starts with the voters at the top. And every election cycle, we have candidates who hopefully put forward a platform. And voters hopefully get to know what that platform is, and they choose us as representatives to set the vision for the county, to say how the county government will run. And if we're pulling in different directions, we can't run efficiently, and we can't be doing what the voters have put us forward to do. So I think it's good to have a policy But I don't think that solves the issue that keeps coming up. We've heard from the chair tonight or this morning, and we have a resolution that says, you know, we want to be able to say what we want to say, an amended resolution. And I believe that the newspaper takes the position that, you know, they can publish whatever they want to publish. So I think that's our responsibility, is to say, well, if we have a divergence, then we need to address it.
Comments?
I think we already have a set of rules. I'm in favor of going back and looking at those rules. I think they go back to 2012 maybe or so.
Yes.
January 9th, 2012.
Okay.
I remember voting on it.
You know, I have served on a lot of committees for the county, and I tried to explain it at a recent advisory board meeting that I went to. This was my personal observation of it, that when I was appointed to a committee, it was because I asked to serve on that committee. I filled out an application and I asked, and the county commissioners appointed me to it. And I always felt like that I served at the will and pleasure of the county commissioners because I asked to serve on that committee. And that the rec board was one particular one that many times we asked for the board of commissioners to support us in making a change or maybe adding something, and a lot of times, and most of the time, they did. And sometimes they didn't. But when they didn't, we dropped it right there. We didn't pursue it and go out in the community and go against the county commissioners, because you just shouldn't do that, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not in favor of voting on this resolution here that we have, but I am in favor of going back and reviewing and possibly updating those current rules that we already have.
Well, I'm in favor of the resolution. I understand where everyone's points of views are coming from. You know, this particular committee was set up with the best intention. Commissioner Laylock at the time, this was one of her thoughts, and the board agreed with that board, and well, creating that board for a sense of having people involved. But that committee needs to understand that when they speak, they represent the county, and this is why we brought it up at the last meeting. And I think there needs to be some checks and balances involved there, so that's why I'm in favor of this resolution. The previous resolution that was approved on January 9, 2012 is a little bit dated, and I'd like to see the manager and staff go forward and look at additional changes, but this is more or less just a short-term change for the time being. So, any other comments?
I'm in favor of the resolution as well as what you just put it.
Okay. All right. Do I have? Go ahead, ma'am.
If we're leaving the board in place, then I think we definitely need the resolution.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion? Having here and none, I'll make the motion to approve the advisory board policy and the correspondence policies and procedure for the individual advisory boards, with direction to the staff to investigate other avenues going forward. That is my motion. Any further discussion? Having here and none, all in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion's been approved. Thank you. Item D, North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, legislative goals proposal. County Manager.
Every 2 years, the NCACC conducts this legislative goals process. So they are asking boards of county commissioners to submit to them proposals that the association would then review from each county and take to a conference in November to have them adopted. And then these become the platform over the next couple of years that the NCACC uses to support county positions with the state legislature. There's also the opportunity to submit federal goal proposals. So within your packet, I have included the current legislative goals package, and the Person County Board of Commissioners did contribute to the development of this particular package 2 years ago. You also have in your packet this morning the letter from Chairman Powell at that time to the NCACC, which outlines the 8 goal proposals that came from the board. This time around, again, you are being asked to submit goal proposals to the NCACC. Those proposals are due by August the 14th, so you still have one more board meeting in between now and then. So I would like to have some discussion this morning as far as what process you would like to follow to develop proposals to submit. And you may have some already in mind that you would like to suggest this morning. Another option could be that you all think about this a bit and then submit proposals to me on an individual basis, and then I could compile all of those and bring them back to the next meeting for discussion and then for the board's adoption of certain ones to send forward. But we would need to make sure that those are in by August 14th. One thing to keep in mind is some of these goals that are in the package from the goals package from the 25-26 process still apply. You may still want to see those being lobbied for, promoted by the association to the state legislature. But they do have to be readopted each year, and there may be certain parts of that language that you may suggest changing, so we would need to put those forth again for consideration. So that part of the process, again, this is the first part of the process, and then it culminates in November. After the goals move through the steering committees, they go to a legislative goals committee, and then they're adopted by the NCACC Board of Directors at the Legislative Goals Conference. So I'm open to any questions you may have about the process or suggestions for how you would like to move forward with this.
Comments?
I agree that the ones that are here, particularly on page 142, the top 5 priorities that were selected in the last process still apply. I think also we should include advocacy for funding for schools and infrastructure, and more local control over land use matters. And beyond that, I would be fine with submitting to the manager between now and August 14th.
Now, that, what you were speaking of, you're talking about the letter from August 19th, 2024?
No, this is the top 5 goals that were ultimately
Okay.
selected by the NCACC.
Okay.
And it covers farmland preservation, promoting teacher recruitment, helping out with the issues we have with the medical and mental health needs, and detention centers. I think all those still apply.
Yeah, I was looking at the, what we last submitted, the 8 goals, and most of that is still in line, because it does mention, seek legislation and funding to assist with the construction and renovation of public safety facilities. We've got the additional support for schools, and so how about this? I'm in agreements with you too on there, so, but I think it'd be prudent for us to just email the county manager our individual thoughts, and so have those presented to us at our next regularly scheduled meeting in August. And because we have time, you said August the 14th?
Is when they're due, so your next meeting is August the 3rd, so
Okay.
I can pull together a draft letter, along these lines, and then we can make edits to that at the meeting as the board desires, and finalize that for submittal.
Okay.
So have them to you by August the 3rd.
Before then, I'll send you an email, let's see about the date, 'cause I will need them, by the end of this week in order to pull into an agenda packet for the August 3rd meeting. So if you could send those to me, by Friday at noon, that would be helpful.
Okay. All right, any other comments? All right, thank you, County
Okay,
Manager.
sure, you're welcome.
All right, item E, designation of voting delegate to the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Annual Conference. Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Voting credentials for the 2026 NCACC Annual Business Session scheduled on Saturday, August 22nd at 2:15 in Durham County must be submitted to the organization by August 19th. In order for Person County's delegate to participate in the association's annual election of officers and policy adoption, it is my recommendation that the board nominate and approve Vice Chair Wilburn since she is attending that conference.
And I completely agree with that, and she's done a great job representing the county at the association, so I will entertain a motion to designate Vice Chair Wilburn as Person County's voting delegate to the NCACC Annual Conference for 2026.
So moved.
We have a motion. All in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion's been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman's report, I do not have a report this time. County Manager.
We have two new county employees in the audience who I would like to introduce to you all this morning. Adam Pentola is our new Veteran Services Officer. We're
Morning.
happy to have him with the county. Thanks for being here. And then Keith Day is our new County Resource Officer with the Sheriff's Office. So we added that position this year. He will be here for your board meetings. He will have an office at Social Services, and he will be working very closely with our county departments and supporting them. So welcome, Keith, and thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you. Vice Chair Workman.
I will say I was meeting somebody out front for a meeting and waiting to show them where they go, and somebody came in looking for you and saw the sign up there that's pasted up there, so, I'm sure you've been quite busy since you've been here, so it's good to have you. I wanted to congratulate the manager for joining the board of directors for the North Carolina City and County Management Association. And to express thanks for Commissioner Royster, who is not here because she is representing us at NACO right now. I think that's a 4-day session this time. For boards and committees, the UNRBA did meet in June at the Butner Town Hall. Predominantly, that was a year-end meeting with setting the budget and contract renewals for fiscal year 26-27. The Transportation Advisory Committee met in Henderson at the COG office, and we continue to discuss project prioritization for the region and how to get more projects funded in rural counties. The EDC met. We are moving forward with, next steps on site selection, and we are going to get some support there from the site selection program that Duke Energy has and supports through a competitive process. Several of our EDC members also joined some chamber members in a field trip to Johnston County. We toured the airport there. We met with their economic developer and some other leadership, and we toured a residential development. We met with the developer who wanted us to get a feel for what one of their projects looks like because they own land here and plan to move forward with a project here. I attended the Microsoft meeting at S100, and I thought that they did a very good job with that. They had a lot of people there, a lot of stations set up, and there was a lot of people from the community who came out. They had it start before 5 and went until well after 5. So I thought that was very well done. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Thomas,
No report.
Commissioner Long.
Yes, sir. I'd like to request the county manager to provide a total of legal fees that the county has incurred on the Yarborough land legal proceeding going back to the beginning, which I know was well over 10 years, to include all the legal fees billed from my county attorneys, and that would span at least 2 legal firms. It's been ongoing that long, and this case hasn't been resolved as yet. I'd also like to recognize the significant weather event that happened at Hyco Lake this past weekend and encourage our emergency management and county manager's office to reach out to assist those taxpayers. I attended the Environmental Issues Committee meeting recently. I also went through the Microsoft meeting at PCC, and it was a very well-attended event. I thought it was a well-organized event, too. I attended the North Carolina Green Industry Council Water Symposium in Raleigh recently. I attended the July the 4th parade. We, the people of Mayo Lake, had a group meeting this past Saturday and provided an update about their meetings with Duke Energy. They've met many, many times. It appears the compromise is progressing, and hopefully an agreement will be forthcoming soon. And I'd like to thank Dr. Phillips and his team and Duke Energy for patiently working together. This past Saturday was Ronnie Epps Day, the Person County People's Choice Award recipient. I know you all see him on social media, so if you see him, tell him appreciate it. Last Saturday was Ronnie Epps Day. First Responder Memorial will be installing columns and lights soon, so that's progressing very well. And lastly, I'd like to acknowledge the passing of Mr. Randolph Mantooth, or Johnny Gage as he was known on the hit TV series Emergency, portraying the Los Angeles Fire Department. He inspired many folks, including myself, to pursue an emerging new career opportunity as an emergency paramedic firefighter. I began my career in Person County with Mercer Ambulance Service and as an EMT, and transitioned to Durham County EMS in 1977, attending the first paramedic class taught jointly between Durham County Hospital Corporation, Durham County General Hospital, Duke University, and Duke Hospital. At one time when you Google 1980s paramedic, a picture of a much younger Donald Long was shown. I had black hair back in that day. Under the leadership of EMS Chief Mickey Teaseye and EMS Chief Mike Smith, who resides here in Person County, we were the best of the best. We assisted in training nurses with the Watts School of Nursing and medics with the elite United States Army 82nd Airborne Division. Johnny Gage helped usher in a new group of first responders that has saved countless lives all over the world. Just remember, even law enforcement and firefighters need heroes to look up and depend on in their hour of need. Thank you, Johnny Gage, and may God rest your soul. Squad 51, KMG 365, out. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right. Having no further business to discuss, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
We have a motion. All in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The meeting's adjourned.